Back when I was young, due to my mum often working late, I often had to go to after-school care. This wasn't such a bad thing, because there, they had a PlayStation. And on those occasions where they let us use it, things were awesome. Especially during school holidays where we could potentially play for the entire day. Which was kind of necessary, because the after-school care did not own any memory cards. So it kind of became a competition to see how far we could get before we had to inevitably turn off the console. When my parents finally got me my first console, a PlayStation 2, which I never actually expected them to really do, the first 2 games that I got for the system were obvious choices, and in fact were not even PlayStation 2 games. They were the 2 games that I would play at after school care. The first was the original Spyro the Dragon, and the second... brought to you by Ski. Back when they used to actually make games. And always an awesome company.
Crash Bandicoot 2. Cortex Strikes Back. Press start to begin.
Well, he pretty much said it for me. Just one thing that I want to say. For context, this game picks up literally where Crash 1 ended, and I do mean literally. So, what you're about to see is right after the very end of Crash 1's final boss fight. So, let's go.
Crystals. Of course.
But Dr. Cortex, to reach full power, we need not only your master crystal, but also the remaining 25 slave crystals from the surface. How do you expect to retrieve them when we don't have any Earthbound operatives left?
You fool! Do you think I'm unaware of the situation? If we don't have any friends left on the surface, then we need to find an enemy.
Crash? Crash? Crash! My battery is fried. Make yourself useful, big brother, and bring an extra battery for me.
So, launching things right off with a bit of an intro level, which, by the way, you don't actually get to play if you skip the opening movie. So, we can walk around, jump with the X button, square to spin, which is our main method of attack, circle to crouch, crouch while running to slide, jump while crouching to high jump, jump while sliding to long jump, and crouch while jumping to belly flop. With that, let's get right into it. We have boxes. Yep, boxes. This is pretty much the main gimmick of this whole series. These bouncy crates will break after around 10 or so bounces, and they give you fruit each time. These are called Wumpa fruit, but I used to call them apples back in the day. And this, I used to call these Ooga Boogers back in the day for the sound they made, but this is an Aku Aku mask. It will protect Crash from one hit, which is very important because Crash is a one-hit point wonder. That was an extra life. Question mark boxes can give a variety of different things. Don't fall in that pit, because dying during the tutorial level would be embarrassing. They can also give a lot of these Wumpa fruit. Again, I like to call them apples. Enemies, you can usually defeat them by either jumping on them or spinning. I usually find spinning is a bit more reliable, and you'll often see this kind of formation of boxes. Bouncy crate plus, well, this arrow crate, which also bounces you. I like to belly flop on these. So that's pretty much all we need to know. Let's head into this ominously glowy thing. And by the way, you cannot skip that teleporter. Believe me, I've tried many times.
Well, well, well. If it isn't Crash Bandicoot, welcome. I apologize for the crude means used to bring you here, but I rather expect a written invitation would have been turned down. I need your help. Surrounding you are a series of 5 doors. Through each door lies a well-hidden crystal. The crystals look like this. Bring me the crystals, Crash. That is all I will say for now. We will speak again.
Well hidden, huh? Yeah, bear that in mind. So hey, let's trust the main villain of the previous game. What could possibly go wrong? Here we are in the warp room. This is our first warp room, and it's got 5 levels for us. We can do these levels in any order, but they generally go in order of increasing difficulty, so it's usually best to do them in order. We also have this, the load save screen, something that I never used back when I first played this game in after school care, because, yeah, we didn't have memory cards. We had to see how far we could get in the game without them. But anyway, this might take a little while to read my PS3, because I am actually playing this on a PS3. I do own the original PS1 version, but I could not record off of that system for some reason. But yes, using a virtual memory card here, I suppose we might as well make a save. And, I might be able to fit my full username in here. Probably not, actually. Oh well, I guess I have to go with Big Cling. With that, it's time to enter the very first level. Now, pay attention to those marks next to the level name there. That represents the collectibles in each level, but notice how some of them are coloured and some of them aren't. That's important. This shows that this, the very first level, actually has a very significant secret in it. That's pretty much a summary of the main theme of this game. This game is very, very easy if you're just going to complete it normally. But if you're going for 100%, it actually becomes quite a bit trickier. So, see, if I press triangle I get this count. By breaking these boxes, the count goes up. Our goal is to break every box in the level, and in fact in every level. Also there's this mud here. It doesn't really do much, it just slows you down. I like to do this, just because it's funny, but it doesn't have any adverse effects on Crash at all. I think the mud only appears in this level, which is kind of weird. But anyway, we're going to keep progressing along, jump on some armadillos for some reason, jump over that pit, and break some more boxes here. You can just press square to break the bouncy crates immediately and just skip all the fanfare. Often pretty good to do that. A second Ooga Booga there, we now have a golden one that will protect us from 2 hits, and this is a checkpoint. We'll respawn here if we lose a life. And here, we see where the developers were complete jerks with this game, because in order to get 100% in this first level, we have to belly flop on this face to enter a secret area. Thankfully, all my friends knew about that when I was a kid, so I had a pretty easy time with this one. But if you don't, then yeah, it's kind of a giant guide, dang it, until you get to the end and realize you've missed a whole ton of boxes. So, these turtles, if you jump on multiple enemies in a single bounce without touching the ground, you'll actually get a few extra Wumpa Fruit. Speaking of jumping, this bird here, you actually have to jump on it. Its beak protects it from attacks from the front, i.e. spinning. The manual gave you information on which enemies were vulnerable to which moves. This was back when game manuals actually mattered. Oh, how I miss those days. So, yeah. Those green things below us are nitros. They are bad. Don't touch them. And you get an extra life for getting 100 Wumpa Fruit, obviously. So we're going to have to do a slide jump here. Get these 2 boxes. Now, if you don't make that jump, you actually can make it with a slide jump from there, so it's really not the end of the world. Also, we can just slide jump up here. Now, what is the end of the world if you don't make it is a couple of jumps here that are going to be one time only, and if we miss them, we have to kill ourselves if we want 100%. So I'm going to go a bit quiet here, just to try and make these. You have to slide jump off the backs of these flamingo ostrich things very quickly before they go down and bury their heads in the ground. So that's one pass, now the second. Got it, okay, good. That is really the only difficult part of this level in my opinion. You can use some kind of funny, glitchy tricks to get the boxes from down here. I've seen speedrunners do that, but, yeah, I'm not going to be attempting that. Okay, so let's just jump on that, and that's the end of the secret area. We also have this. This is the Nitro Exploder. It will blow up all Nitros in the level. This is important because Nitros count towards your box total. So these things, we saw them briefly in the secret area, but you can only jump on them. You can't actually spin them due to their spikes. Once they're down, you can either use them as a bouncy platform, or you can just spin them away. They will eventually get back out of their shells, though, if you leave them. So bear that in mind. See if I can go for a combo here. And nice one. So then there's this question mark on the ground. This leads to a bonus. Most levels have one of these. And normally I demonstrate what happens if you die in a bonus, but I have a double Ooga Booga, and I'd lose that if I did, so I'm not going to do that. You can't lose lives in bonuses, but you only get to keep the boxes, the lives, and the fruit you collect in a bonus if you get through it. So, yeah. Basically how they work. Most levels have one of those. These, it's best if you jump on them, because you can't actually spin while you're in the mud. And let's keep going. Don't want to fall in that pit there, because that would render a lot of my hard work useless. Now, this area of the level is actually a bit tricky for the second secret, but for now, we can just smash through all of this. It feels so satisfying just to smash through a whole bunch of boxes like this. Speaking of satisfying, we're about to see what happens if you get a third Ooga Booga. This makes you slightly faster when walking and gives you invincibility. It actually lasts for a very long time. And I actually don't want invincibility here, so I'm going to actually go ahead and wait for this to wear off. Because we need to bounce on that turtle to get that box, although you do have a bit of a bigger box-breaking hitbox while you're invincible, so I might have been able to get that by regular jumping. But I like using the turtle here. This is kind of how you're supposed to do it. Hold X while you're bouncing to get a higher bounce height, and of course that one had an extra life. Usually question mark boxes that are out of the way have extra lives in them. Now, we kind of skipped it before because we were invincible, but these pits have you fight a bunch of rats before you can get out. Now, you can use epic speedrun jump strategies to get around these pits. I've done it a few times myself, but I'm not really going to... I can, for some reason, do it better in the next jungle level than in this one. Also, here is the crystal. This is the thing that Cortex wants. So, let's go ahead and pick it up, I guess. Still not sure why we're helping him, but I guess we just, I don't know, we'll get to play through more levels that way. So here we are at the very end of the level. Not too bad except for that one secret area. With 62 boxes, we get ourselves a clear gem. I'll be referring to this as the box gem from now on. Every level has a box gem. And these are the main thing that I'm going to be going for with 100% completion. And every time you get a box gem, Crash does this dance. Oh, this is such an iconic part of the game. You can skip the dance by pressing triangle, though.
Well done, Crash. I knew I could rely on you. Now listen carefully. These holograms are hard to maintain. During the course of my intellectual pursuits, I have stumbled across a force that threatens to destroy the world. Crystals are the only means of containing it. The fate of the world is at stake. It is imperative, therefore, that you bring them to me.
There, Crash? Crash! Crash! Are you there? Are you there, Crash?
Well, something's obviously going on, but that's all we'll get for now. But this is not all for the first level, Turtle Woods. I'm actually going to be heading back in here, because it's time to go for that blue collectible. These are the colored gems. If we check the pause screen, you'll notice there are icons just above the clear gems. There are 5 of these in the game, and they're important for unlocking secrets in other levels. Each one of them in this game requires a unique method to get. The one for this level is actually quite bizarre, and it's the only time in the game that you have to deal with something like this. We need to go through all of Turtle Woods while not breaking any boxes at all. No other level has a goal for getting 0 boxes, just this one. But it's actually a much more pedestrian run through this place, not trying to worry about the boxes. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about invincibility, because we can only get Ooga Boogas through boxes. So, yeah, this is probably going to give you an idea of just how easy this game is if you don't care about 100% completion. Until you reach one particular point. Also, you can run on the scenery a bit here to get around the mud. I think that point is actually coming up. Just through these turtles. Here we go! This is what gives most players trouble while going for this. How do you get through here without breaking any boxes? Well, the trick is to line yourself up just right and jump on the bouncy box, which does not break from the first bounce. From here on, it's pretty easy. Now, yeah. Sometimes you can stand on the scenery a bit on the side here to get over the pits with the rats, but yeah, I find it actually a bit easier in the second jungle level, like I've said. Oh, I almost got it that time. Of course, if you're a speedrunner, you can do this technique called neutral slide spinning and build up enough velocity to just flat out jump over the pit without needing to worry about any of that. But yeah, that is kind of beyond me. I might discuss what neutral slide spinning is later, but it's not really something you need to know if you're just playing this game normally. Anyway, with that, we have 0 boxes, so if we go here, the blue gem awaits us. I like how every color gem has its own unique shape. Now, once we go back to the warp room, we'll see why gems are important. And I'm just going to let the dance play, because that's a blue gem. There are only 5 of these in the game, so I want to show the dance for all of them.
So, you were helping Cortex gather crystals, yet you have acquired a gem. Interesting. Well, Crash, know this. As long as you are allied with Cortex, you are my sworn enemy, and I will do anything in my power to stop you. If the fate of the world is truly your concern, you must gather the gems, not the crystals. If you obtain all 42 gems, I can use them to focus a laser beam that will destroy Cortex and the space station he's created. Until then, I must use my forces to stop you from gathering crystals.
So that was Dr. N. Brio. He used to be Cortex's right-hand man, but things have kinda gone south, and he doesn't like Cortex very much anymore. So he's against Cortex here, and, well, I suppose the enemy of Cortex is, an enemy of ours? Or friends? At this point we don't really know, but considering which collectibles are required for 100% completion, it should be obvious who we're going to side with in the end. So, that is the first level out of the way, and with that I think I'm going to save, and then I'm going to be going for the second level, Snow Go. I would kind of like to point something out on the save screen here though. Notice the save file icon? Every level has its own unique save file icon, including levels that you can't repeat. So I believe that's for the tutorial level. That's the only way you can get that icon. And I guess I have to re-enter the file name if I'm saving to a separate slot. I guess I should mention that at the time this game came out, memory cards were still relatively new. Heck, the back of the manual even has an ad for memory cards. The first Crash game used a bit of a password save system that was kind of awkward. Yeah, Crash 1 had a lot of issues that Crash 2 improved on massively. So as you'd expect, we've got a snow level here, and Crash 2's ice physics are very, very interesting, as you'll soon see. Also, this music is great. It's one of my favourite songs in this game. Oh, we're going to be getting invincibility right away anyway. But first I want to show these things. This is a TNT, and that's a Nitro we've seen before. TNTs, jump on them once and take cover. Do not spin them. That's a very bad idea. They blow up in 3 seconds after you jump on them. Nitros, though, do not show any mercy. They immediately blow up when you touch them. But if we've got invincibility, we don't have to worry about that. And yeah, notice how we've got 3 boxes. Yes, that Nitro did count. And now we have this ice here. Notice that sliding on ice, and I should probably break that TNT now while I'm invincible. Yeah, ice physics are kind of interesting. They even carry over to mid-air. Sliding on ice makes you go extremely fast, so bear that in mind. Ice is kind of one of the few times in this game where you have any sort of momentum at all, even in the air. Something kind of funny about this game is that if you let go of a direction while you're jumping, Crash will just stop dead right in the air. Does mean that you have a lot of mid-air control, though. And we've got a bit of a formation of nitros here. Let's just slide around that, and take this to head up into a 2D side-scrolling. Well, not actually 2D. We still have full 3D control here, even though this is a side-scrolling area. That can be abused in certain ways. That thing can actually kill you, by the way. And if we get close enough to it... it's not going to cooperate. Sometimes they just get stuck slamming up and down. As long as you keep moving, those things are not really a threat. The main threat comes later. Red gem. Must have gem. Must let me get... Ugh. You can't get that yet. Or at least not legitimately. There are ways to get that early, but I'm going to be going the legitimate way. And the legitimate way is we have to leave that for later. Try and slide up over that nitro, and head on into the bonus. This time, the bonus is down a big hole, but thankfully does not kill you for falling in it. Not usually, at least. If you're playing on a PlayStation 2 with fast disk speed enabled, it's actually possible that you'll fall faster than this area loads, and you'll actually die. It's kind of funny that way. But anyway, let's break those with high jumps, and yeah. The ice bonuses can be kind of fun with just how you can just slide everywhere. Just gonna go ahead and break that. And that should be everything. This is a new feature we haven't seen yet. These outlines, they are, of course, not there, but once we hit this, they turn into normal boxes. This is going to be a recurring theme in levels, and there are eventually going to be some kind of annoying, I guess, semi-puzzles with them. I mean, I kind of hesitate to call this a puzzle at this point, but later on they'll get a little bit more intricate. Anyway, every time you head down one of these areas, make sure you check behind you. In this case, you would have missed the Nitro Exploder if you didn't. And I love being invincible here because I can just do this. Get the crystal. Yeah, well hidden, not exactly. Yeah, you know that the invincibility is about to end when you hear that, those drums sounding like they're going to fade out. So, yeah, there's an exclamation mark box up there, and that opens up these. That can be a little annoying if you don't realize it. Usually it's a good idea to always continue bouncing on these after you've broken boxes above them, just in case they are hiding more boxes. Because, yeah, also, you can spin enemies into other enemies and also boxes. It's a little bit random on where they go, though. But anyway, that's 74 boxes, that should be everything, so we get ourselves the box gem. And that's all we can do for this level, because we can't get the red gem on the first pass. Well, not legitimately, anyway. Like I said, there are ways that you can, but I'm not going to be attempting that. Now, well, this is the second dance, I might as well show it. And no hologram this time. So, our next level is Hang 8. This one's going to be kind of interesting. You'll notice that it has 2 gems, but not a coloured gem. We'll see why that's the case once we actually get in there. I feel like with the intro and those first 2 levels done, that's a good place to call this part. But before we close out, I'll be briefly explaining what the percentage means. Every crystal is worth 2%, every gem is 1%, every secret, which we'll be getting to later, is worth 1%, and there are 5 of those, and the final boss is worth 3%. So the bare minimum that you can complete the game with is 53%. But with that, I'm going to close out here, but first, I, of course, don't do these levels perfectly on the first time, so I'm thinking that at the end of every part, I'm going to have an installment of the Fail Channel. So, get ready for that. It's failure time. After that, I'll see you in the next part. Here is something where they're going to become important. These kind of flamingo ostrich type things, we need to get on their backs and then jump off very quickly. Like this. Wow, that was terrible. These ostrich flamingo type things, their backs are only going to be up for a short time, and we need to quickly jump off of them to get some boxes. If we miss them, we have to kill ourselves. So, here goes nothing. Really? This is, in general, a very easy game to complete. I say that and I immediately get hit. Notice how that flamingo / ostrich thing before has gone down into the ground? Yeah, you need to very quickly slide jump off their backs before they do that, otherwise you'll miss some boxes. So, I'm gonna go for the second one here. I got this every time in practice, but now that I'm actually commentating, I'm failing it every single time.